Dan Mitchinson is our US correspondent. Hiya, Dan.
Hi, Heather.
Okay, geez, things are really coming to a head with Afghanistan. What are you hearing? 3 months before Kabul, the capital, falls?
Maybe less, maybe 35 days, maybe 2 months too. I mean, I was just listening to the World Wires there and saying that the U.S. Embassy is still open. Well, I mean, they're sending in 3,000 new troops to Kabul to pull out these people at the U.S. Embassy right now. And the Taliban is just rolling through one city after another. They captured Kandahar, the birthplace of the Taliban movement, second largest city in the country. And I mean, I'm certainly not a scholar on Afghan geography or history, but all you have to do, like I did today, is take a look at the map. Pull it up and you see they are increasingly isolating the country's capital. And we had a State Department spokesperson earlier today who called what's happening not abandonment and said it wasn't an evacuation or wholesale withdrawal. He called it a reduction in the size of civilian footprint.
Come on.
No, exactly. How can you not call it abandonment? You're pulling it out. The U.S. is withdrawing. We knew what was going to happen. I just don't think anybody thought it was going to happen this quickly.
I mean, attention has to turn to Biden now and his judgment on this, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, we knew it was coming. There's no political expert that I've talked to who said that this was only a matter of time before the Taliban was going to take control. The question is, who are they going to deal with now? And what countries are going to trade with them or help them keep that country afloat? And will Biden decide to go back in or return under this administration? I don't know, probably not, but no one can say for certain and predict the future, especially after what we're seeing in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, too right. Well, this was largely predictable, wasn't it? Anyway, Britney Spears' father has said he's going to give up the conservatorship of his daughter, mainly because he doesn't want to have this public spat with her. But he hasn't put a timeline, Dan, so when are we expecting him to do it?
Well, I don't know. That's the thing that's a little suspicious today. All the paperwork was filed in Los Angeles Superior Court today, and it was a response to her petition for his suspension. And he said, hey, you know what? I'll cooperate with the court. But like you said, there's no timetable given. And I'm glancing through a little bit of the paperwork today. And one thing that seems a bit, I don't want to call it suspicious, but maybe circumspect, is that he says he still has to wrap up certain matters before he'll hand things over. But there's no urgent circumstances that justify that he step aside immediately. So that, along with no timeline given, leads me to think that maybe this is going to drag on just a little bit longer than we think.
Yeah, potentially. So, hey, so your census data shows, what do you mean white people are in decline?
Well, they take the census survey every 10 years or so, and they just released it today. And this is from the U.S. Information that they collect, and the non-Hispanic white population has dropped for the first time on record in the U.S. California, for example, right now, Hispanics have become the largest racial or ethnic group, about 40% of the population. I think there's maybe 36 or 37% are white here. And we're the most populous state in the country. We're seeing more Americans migrating to the South and to the West, and they're leaving the Midwest. They don't want to live there. They don't want to live in the Northeast. White women are having fewer babies. Hispanic and Asian women are having more here. And what this is going to tell us, I think, I mean, there's just so much information they get from this thing every decade, too, is that I think there's going to be more partisan battles in D.C. Because you've got representation now, how the money is spent. People are shifting where they live. And as these demographics change, I think that could even determine control of the parties in the White House in the midterms next year and in the presidential election in 2024.
Yeah, fair enough. Dan, thank you so much. That's a fair point that you make. Dan Mitchinson, US correspondent.
New Zealand, the land of milk and honey and the country. Join Jamie Mackay and Rowena Duncan weekdays from 12 as they survey the rural landscape. All the big issues affecting you. Listen and follow on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. News Talk ZB.